What's going on, fellow captains? It's Muse. So today we're going to have a flanking run in the Bayard. We end up with 120k damage, 3500 base XP. One of those games where I didn't feel like I did a whole lot, and then by the end of it, when the scorecard popped up, I'm like, when did all that happen? Uh, just goes that way sometimes. Now, I do have to apologize. There's going to be no game audio. I'd been playing a couple hours. I was kind of really in the zone, so you can see this mic popping up on screen constantly. Guy had an open mic, and there was a whole lot of noise going on from his TV, from the background, from everything. So when I watched the footage back, it was really loud, and we're just gonna cut the audio out so that we don't have to hear that. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna play some jazz in the background. I feel that's fitting for a French cruiser. So we start off with the Bravo cap. We are gonna end up pushing around this right flank, and we're gonna end up back behind enemy lines. It's kind of what the French ships are good for. They're really like two ways I play them, either kiting or flanking. And that's pretty much what I do with my French cruisers. So, just to go over the build real quick, I'm not going to get into like a full build section for it. First module slot, I have turret traverse. Second slot, I'm running the... Oh, brain slipped for a second. The propulsion mod. Third slot, I'm going to be running the rudder. And then for the fourth slot, I have the main battery reload. And then for the commander, I have Saint-Louis. Can use either the French command, the vanilla commanders. I use Saint-Louis because that fourth perk gives you an extra main battery reload boost. And that's a good way to tack on some extra DPM in clutch situations when you need it. So that is my preference for my higher tier French cruisers. Lower French cruisers, the lower tiers, I tend to use the vanilla commanders because they don't get the main battery reload booster. So we're spotted here, but we're about to go behind an island, so I'm not too worried. Just seeing where that spot breaks, so I kind of have an idea of where the DD is. And that gives us a clue right there. It goes ahead and he pops up because our DD spots him. Unfortunately, our DD isn't a 2-on-1 down there. He does have help from the carrier. But one Hayate versus two Hayates is not a good situation to be in, and he's going to pay a price for it. Not much he can do about it. At least he got these guys out of here. So you have to give him credit. Cost him a ship, but it was a worthy sacrifice. 2-for-1 trade. Take shots at the closer Hayate, and then once he goes dark, I start taking him at the second, and then the first Hayate goes down. Just keep firing at the second as long as he's spotted. We see the Mogami out there. There is nothing else on this side but these two DDs and the Mogami. You can see our DD is pretty low health. We're just speeding down this flank. So the two DDs are gone, that leaves me with just the Mogami, and I have an idea of what Mogami wants to do, which is torp me through one of these gaps. So you can see I'm going to swap over the AP because I have a fairly good feeling he's going to give us a shot. And he disrespects the French AP and just sits completely broadside, and that's... If you disrespect French AP, you're going to pay a price. It hurts. So we're just using our speed to push past him and get him to where he's flat. We're going to get a little bit of an angle to him so he can't AP us back. Not worried about the torps. We go ahead and hit 5 citadels right there. Going to take another 3 citadels right here, and then just the finishing touch. And that's going to be a def strike on Mr. Mogami. Again, I wasn't worried about the torps. The ship is agile enough that if somebody fires torps at me, I have days to get out of the way. So that takes care of this entire side of the map, which is the strong side. They only sent 3 ships to the strong side of the map. That was kind of a mistake on their part. We're going to capitalize by taking Alpha. And there's nobody over here to contest me, nobody over here to spot me, nothing. So even the guys at Charlie can't shoot at me because nobody's got spots. You can see my team telling me to take Alpha, which was already my game plan, but... Over there at Charlie, it's a fairly even fight. We are up on ships, but being I'm not over there, it's for the most part an even fight over there. It's pretty much 4 on 5, I believe. Take shots at that Wichita, but he's 16 kilometers away, so he just has plenty of time to get out of the way. Now we see this Charles Martel pushing out towards the back. He's doing what a French cruiser does, which is the same thing I do, play at range. Just dodge anything anybody throws at you. He is a threat to our other ships down there, though, because while he can dodge most of what they're throwing, he's going to spit out a lot of fire and problems for people. So we're going to go ahead and engage the Martel, even though those other 2 ships are low health. This Martel is the problem for those guys. So we're going to start off with AP. He's sitting broadside to us. I don't expect to get Citadels at this range, but hey, it's worth it. If I get one, I get one. And we're going to pop the main battery reload booster and just absolutely dump on him before we go dark behind this island. I see that battleship right there. My plan is to get behind this island before he can get his guns turned and go dark, which is exactly what we do. Now, I'm going to come around the top of this island, and I'm going to re-engage that Martel. He's moving out towards me. He knows I'm back here now, so... He wants to come deal with me, and it's going to be a one-on-one French cruiser fight. He takes a lot more HP off me than what I would like. It takes me... I get him low health really quick, but then to get that last little bit, it just takes everything. Which is typical. So here I take an AP shot, that's what I had up. I was hoping he was going to give me a broadside. He doesn't. He's playing me tanky, so we go HE. Gonna maintain my angle to him because he did fire AP at me, so I know he wants that big shot on me. Get a fire there. Still going AP. I believe he swaps over to the HE now because he realizes I'm not giving him that flat shot. We're gonna bait him a little here, show him some broadside, show him some skirt. There comes the HE out of him. We get another fire on him. Now, as you can see, I'm pretty healthy. He's almost dead. And it just takes everything to get this last little bit of health out of him. I don't know if he was damage saturated, what was going on there. It's a typical problem I seem to run into. Like, it's easy to take somebody down to, like, 10% health, but that last 10%, all of a sudden they turn into, like, a tanking god. And you can see my shells are just hitting for nothing now. Like... So he's gonna be able to burn off quite a bit of my HP. And then I got the carrier coming after me while I'm dealing with him, so... Dual threat. This time the carrier brings skip bombers. That's the wise decision with a Russian carrier, and you're going to see why in a second. French cruisers are very agile, so they're sort of like DDs in the aspect of that they're hard to hit with slow carrier torpedoes. So you can see where my health is at. Had this carrier just kept coming at me with skip bombers, he would have killed me. But he comes with torpedo bombers time after time, looking for that big hit on me. And he's gonna get rewarded with a goose egg. We're just gonna duck and dodge. We start out with the AP, but we're not gonna get a whole lot out of the AP, so we're eventually just gonna go over the HE. At that range, I'm hitting his deck and not his hull, so just kind of bouncing and shattering on his deck with the AP. So we go over the HE, we're just going to start farming him up, being cognizant of where his torque planes are. I'm just going to duck and dive torps. They're very slow, gives me time to find holes like this. There's one tiny hole, and I'm able to go right through it. That was really good dispersion, except for that one little gap, and we were able to get right through that little gap. So that should have told him, like, torps are not the way. Now you're going to see me maintain an angle to where I'm not going straight at him, I'm going out in front of him. And that's because the Russian carriers are very fast. A lot of them like to bait you to come to where they are, and then they just punch out the throttle and take off. We're not going to allow that, so we're drifting out towards the front of him. So if he does punch out the throttle, he's going to come right out in front of me. While we had the flat side, we were firing AP, dodge some torps here, go back to the HE, and try to get back to that flat side. You can see he sees the torps coming, so he's finally moving. I don't want to commit too much to that right. I want to stay out in front of him. Let him come right in front of me. And we're going to go back to the AP now. End up getting a clear sky here. Attacking a carrier, that's not anything unheard of. And just pretty much a cleanup job. We're going to finish him off with torps because we're in that close, why not? And that's it. I really didn't feel like a whole lot happened, but end up with 3,500 base XP out of it. So, just one of those games where don't expect it. That's all I have for you. I appreciate you. I'll catch you next time. Good hunting for seas, captains. Bye.